not gonna find out anything more by staying here, so we thought that we might as well take the search elsewhere. Enough with the silent treatment!
No. I'm just surprised that you decided to team up with him.
All-Hatham, you haven't helped us out at all ever since we arrived at Aru Village. Bold of you to question our choices.
Yeah, you're all talk!
While you were investigating, I had my own work to do, which I've now finished.
Really? Paimon doesn't...
To be honest, we aren't really a team, so I have no obligation to inform you of my whereabouts. Not to mention that going separate ways allowed me to find some important information that you all had missed.
Huh? Right here in the village?
Correct.
What did you learn?
I'm going to take you to someone. But, before that, you need to understand where she's coming from.
What does that mean?
How do you think the residents of Aru Village feel about what we're doing? In other words, do you truly believe every single word the villagers tell us?
You mean, some of them lied to us?
Hiding the truth does not necessarily equate to lying. Again, these people have their reasons. Remember what Gandis said? Most people in Aru Village don't necessarily care which deity is in charge of Sumeru. That's because whether King Deshret or the Dendro Archon has power is of little significance to them. By contrast, the perils of their daily lives are ever-present concerns. They won't simply share everything they know with you without good reason. That's why you believed there was no further information to be found in this village. Glad you're following along. Among those you have talked to, there's someone who was consciously keeping you out of the loop. In fact, she's been observing your every move since you arrived. The reason being, to someone who only wants to live their life in peace, any external factors introduce unpredictability into the equation.
Those eyes, those fierce eyes. You look like a real fighter.
Don't change the subject.
It's quite obvious that she's intimidated by Sino's authority and strength.
Right. You were asking about the mad scholars.
She corrected herself mid-sentence because she's aware that there are King Deshret fanatics in the village. If she sounds too friendly towards the village keepers, she could easily make herself the radicals' next target.
I think it's been a few days since I last saw them. I usually go to bed pretty early, so I'm not too familiar with what goes on at night.
Remember? She made a point of denying her involvement in anything that occurs at night.
But honestly, I feel quite sympathetic towards them. Even though they act a little strange, they've helped me in the past. If it weren't for them, my house would have collapsed long ago.
After speaking to the village chief, it became clear that the village keepers had protected Aru Village at night. In other words, the young miss was very much awake during that time.
Then, why would she lie?
By getting involved with an outsider, she risks drawing unwanted attention to herself. As for why she might be so wary about all this, maybe you should ask her.
I'll pass on this one. You said that she is afraid of me. If so, it's best if I stay out of this.
We're on it!
want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me.
Miss Shawnee, as we discussed earlier, I've brought someone with me.
Mr. Alhaitham, I'm aware of where you stand, but how can I make sure that your friends think the same as you?
Huh? What do you mean?
Go ahead and talk to her. You'll get the... Go on. Earn her...
Is it really that simple?
May I call you Traveler? Hi, Traveler. I want to ask you something. Do you think the resurrection of King Deshret can truly change Sumeru for the better? Why's that? That's very similar to what Miss Candace says. I know you two are friends. That's why I'm willing to talk to you, even though I do have some reservations. Before, I wouldn't even have the courage to ask something like that. Traveler, do you believe our lives will get better?
Yeah! We came here from another nation, so it isn't wrong of you to be weary. And we aren't really residents of any one nation. But even so, we've met lots of people from different places, and we've always fought for what we believed in. We have friends in Sumeru, and we want to help them. That's why we decided to stay here for a while.
I want to trust you. My apologies for posing my questions like that. To be...
Alhaitham told us you have your...
The fact is that I'm... Only one side of my family is desert folk. I don't really fit in anywhere in Sumeru. Some believe in the Dendro Archon, while others believe in King Deshret. I don't belong to either side, and neither...
Speaking of which, the radicals mentioned that they despise traitors. Do they just think that anyone who's different from them is a traitor?
Yeah. Slowly, I just stopped talking to people. I pretended not... And then it happened. The village keepers who had helped me disappeared with no explanation, and I didn't dare breathe a word about it to anyone. Until now.
You can tell them. I'm sure he'll...
All right. I'll tell you what I told Alhaitham. I actually have a sharper sense of hearing than most. Sometimes, I hear strange crying sounds.
There are ghosts!
Perhaps. I'm not sure. It's faint, but it's definitely the sound of crying. It comes from far away in the distance. It used to be louder.
I confirmed this with the guards on... But, because we're in the middle of a...
There's really nothing...
I think they used to use it for treating...
Yeah!
Take it easy. Wind strike. one with nature. The wind knows me. Time to go.
Place? It's in terrible shape. And there's sand everywhere. Monsters, watch out!
Busted. Here comes the catch. Shower me with...
As one with wind and cloud.
Coming at ya! Hey there! Coming at ya!
Things are about to get dicey. Quietly now.
They were easier to, He looks super serious. We gotta stay on our A game, too.
This is the one. Let's go in and take... Patience. Shawnee says she only hears the crying at night. We have time to burn. Until then... I'm taking a break.
And just like that, he sits down. Wait, he even brought a book to read? What are you reading? Let Paimon see!
Okay, sure.
The natural position, which is the positional propensity of an entity in natural motion in contrast with an object in forced motion? Huh? When free from external influences, every entity displays the tendency to follow its natural trajectory?
So, you got that?
Oh, Paimon gives up. You keep reading your book. See ya! How is he so relaxed? Look at him, reading an impossible book in a creepy place like this. Hey, what good is that gonna do for you? You're acting like one of those annoying grown-ups who go around nagging people to focus on their studies. Hey, what gives? Shouldn't you be the one providing for Paimon? Oh, right. Okay then. Thank you for working so hard and earning so much more. If it weren't for you, Paimon would probably still be floating around in the ocean somewhere. Thank you. getting so sleepy. Huh? What was that sound?
There it is. It's coming from that direction.
Is the sound coming from here? Huh. Paimon's not seeing anything.
It's from below.
But there's no way we can get down.
Something is off about the interior here. As I thought, there's a hidden structure.
Wow. It's like they tucked another hospital into this one. Oh, it looks like there are other mechanisms around here. Let's keep exploring.
Take it easy. Take it easy. Busted.
Watch out! Fire! Well, withdraw.
Here comes the catch.
Fallen leaves, adorn my night! Cheer!
Ha-ha! Coming at you!
Game's up. Fun's over.
Let's go gather some samples.
Like lamb to the slaughter.
Rah!
Follow the wind.
Log the jungle.
I hear everything!
As one with wind and cloud! Wind strike!
Fire! Well, with watch out! Hiya! Witness my magnificence!
idea. Let's approach...
Wait. You're...
He can't speak, and his eyes are unfocused. But he looks too young to be anyone's grandfather. Also, why is he the only one here?
Didn't expect to see him here.
You know him?
He's Razak, a senior of mine at the academia.
He's a scholar too? Is he the kind that holes up in a forest and mumbles stuff about training?
No. And that Razak was never involved in any of those things. He never trained in the forest, let alone reach Satyavada life. Leaving that question aside for the moment, him being here alone means that we might be too late. Looks like they've already taken everyone away. For whatever reason, they left Razak here. Perhaps they simply didn't have time to come back for him. There are drag marks on the ground. They're clearer by the doorway. Someone was forcefully drawing a cart that was loaded with something heavy.
Loaded with people?
That is one possibility. It looks like they were in a hurry, as if they were afraid of being caught. In their haste, they failed to notice Razak hiding in a corner. The symptoms are identical. Looks like we found living proof.
Huh?
Allow me to jog your memory. Recall your time at Port Ormo. Don't you think his symptoms look familiar?
Oh, now that you mention it, they're acting the same way.
Correct. The academia is behind all of this. It isn't difficult to deduce their rationale. First, the academia spread a false rumor of King Deshret's resurrection, emphasizing the role of the village keepers, the mad scholars who were exiled to Aru. These rumors were all the persuasion that the radicals needed, and those based in Aru, as well as being able to exploit the life for the desert dwellers has been brutal. Many would give even if complications arise. The notion of an academia plot wouldn't even cross their minds. It may
Oh, that makes a lot of sense. But there's still one...
Throughout this process, one thing has changed. First, they were scholars. Then, they became lunatics. After that, they were exiles. And finally, they become... An exile is still patently a living, breathing human being. But when someone becomes a missing person, that is brought into question. If you can't find someone, you have no way of knowing what exactly happened to them. That makes
Resource? For what exactly?
One possibility is that the information in their brains could be extracted into knowledge capsules.
Extracted? You mean...
With the technology of the Sumeru Academia, its entire... Perhaps the process caused them great...
So, the human brain...
I'm the Academia scribe after... Anyway, judging by Razak's state, my knowledge... Or perhaps, his curiosity...
Paimon's a...
The look on your face tells me you've realized the answer. That's right. To some scholars, gaining knowledge about the god... However, the academia is... I've spent quite some time trying...
You mean, you're not...
All scholars seek to expand the... Extracting information...
Sounds like you're really against...
Of course. Whether it be academics or knowledge, everything has its boundaries. This matter...
Wait! Didn't you step in...
Not to be callous, but no. My criteria are a little more restrictive than that. There is no shortage of suffering in Sumeru, and the same can be said for the rest of Teyvat as well. What do you plan to do about that? Save every last person?
Probably not. Paimon's not sure.
You can say that. Simply put, I don't blindly place my faith into strength or heroism. I do what I want. The Divine Knowledge Capsule is something I want to investigate in full. That doesn't mean I'm willing to take action for the sake of a few strangers.
Paimon's been wanting to say this for a while. There are a lot of bad guys in the academia, but you're not one of them. You're their weirdo.
You're probably right. Though I must say, I quite enjoy this feeling of being the odd one out. Uniqueness is also...
That's a great way to think about it. Paimon's...
I'm just a more likable person than her in general. There's nothing more to it than that. He won't last long if we leave him here. Let's take him with us. We'll work out our next step after we...
Take it easy.
We're back!
You must be tired.
What's the situation?
Unfortunately, somebody who's too young to take on the role of Isak's grandfather. Nevertheless, he's one of the people we're trying to find.
So, at one point in time, the abandoned Elazar Hospital served as the Academia's site for extracting divine cant knowledge.
Yep, pretty much.
Their plan must have been implemented at some point before we arrived at Aru Village, since divine cant knowledge has been in circulation for a while now. Yet, they fled once we were headed to the village, almost as if they knew we were on their trail.
We may have a mole in our midst. One of us could be secretly revealing our whereabouts to the Academia.
Huh? Are our friendships that shallow?
Looks like none of you have realized wherein lies the issue. Sino, you're the reason why they can predict our movements.
Wait, what's that supposed to mean?
Choose your next words very carefully.
It is simply a logical inference. I have my reasons.
So what you're saying is... Sino's the mole. Interesting. And here I thought you were the most suspicious one, Alhaitham, since you were always acting alone.
I know. You have a point. But I realized something as we were returning from the hospital. Sino isn't like any of us.
What are you trying to say?
Do you still remember who you are, General Mahamatra? As a Matra, you are no doubt privy to certain kinds of information. Before you can take action against someone, you are required to have all the facts available, including the less than savory details. Simply put, the Academia has traditionally allowed you access to a wealth of sensitive information. Knowing their modus operandi, wouldn't you expect them to take precautions against you? If you want to raise a vicious wolf, you need to make sure that you can avoid its bite.
The Academia is monitoring me?
It's not that simple. The Academia has eyes all over Sumeru, but they have a special protocol for dealing with you. Every so often comes a Nyagarbaha Day. On this day, the Academia enters new information into the Akasha through knowledge capsules. I remember seeing a thick notebook next to the control panel once. Its contents were all about the General Mahamatra, his activities throughout the day, preferred methods of enacting judgment, everything.
You're saying that the Academia entered my information into the Akasha too? But what's the point in doing that? My actions aren't important enough to be added into the Akasha.
The Akasha is capable of computation. The Akasha's algorithms are entirely capable of predicting your movements using the data entered. When you would depart, the route you would follow, your destination. It knew all of this.
It predicted my every move.
The academia has been watching you longer than you think. However, the fact that you resigned is proof that their suspicions were well-founded.
So that's how it is. Sino adheres to his principles so strongly that he's actually a thorn in their side. Tenacity of will and steadfast faith are worthless to the academia. They need scholars who are easily pliable and mindlessly go after anything they can profit from. Sino, don't take it to heart. This just proves how much of a trustworthy ally you are.
They escaped because of me.
Don't blame yourself. It's not like any of us would have known.
I have an idea. If they predicted my movements, then I might be able to guess where they went.
Whoa, you bounced back fast.
There is always an opportunity for safety after danger passes.
Oh, so if the academic... Yep, that's...
They'll want to proceed in the direction opposite of where I'm going. I must go.
There's also something I want to investigate.
Let's go, guys!
Please, wait! I want to go too. I want to find Grandpa.
Everyone, I leave him in your hands.
Yay! Let's go! Paimon feels like we're missing...
Is there anything you need?
Yes. After leaving the village, we should head straight toward the desert.
I know the desert like the back of my hand.
Is that because you play here a lot?
Yep. One time, Grandpa almost got lost in the desert. But I was the one who brought him back.
There's something here. What's this?
It's buried in the sand.
And Paimon thought running around everywhere was already enough work. Okay. So, we have to dig...
These are likely fragments of an academia. Looks like there were more than one. Let's split up and search.
Is this what we're searching for?
This is definitely a device used to extract.
How did it end up buried in the sand? They must have been attacked along.
Wait, what?
Grandpa, I hope you're okay.
Don't worry. Your grandpa's gonna be fine.
Razak didn't display any signs of starvation.
We should be able to catch up.
One more thing. I believe the attack must have happened prior to the sandstorm.
Let's keep going. They can't have gone far.
Ugh, but running on sand is so tiring.
But you're flying, aren't you, Paimon? Is flying over sand tiring too?
Ugh, of course it is.
Strike a pose!
Here comes the catch.
Voices, over there. It sounds like an argument.
Whoa, you have really good ears.
Don't get any closer. They'll notice us.
Dia's talking with the Eremites? Very interesting. Let's listen in.
If you had informed me sooner, there'd be plenty of room for us to...
You're one of us. We would never lie.
Scholars. You don't know as much as I do.
I knew it. That's our Dia.
Dia? Why would you... Dia!
Hey, what are you doing?
Huh?
Didn't you say you'd help me find Grandpa? What?
Well, look who's here.
This complicates things.
You've betrayed Aru Village?
So, this is the great General Mahamatra. Dear, you'd be better off as my assistant than hanging around with this motley crew.
I'm not the type that's easily swayed, Raman. You of all people should know that.
Wait, what's going on, Dia? Whose side are you on here?
Shut it, Paimon.
It doesn't matter. Whichever side you pick, nothing can deter us from the grand mission of resurrecting King Deshret. Once our Lord of Old returns to this land, we will have a new beginning.
Face the facts, Raman. It's not gonna happen. You should understand that more than anyone. Have all your years as a merc taught you nothing about placing hopes in a ruler?
I'm a desert dweller and a proud follower of King Deshret. Whether I live by the edge of the sword or in peaceful...
It's not too late yet. The village mad scholars aren't gonna bring King Deshret back to life.
You don't understand, my dear lady. Pursuing our faith is our purpose in life. Even if the chance of success is 1 in a million, we must be willing to give everything we have.
Even if it'll expose you to the academia? Even if they end up disbanding the Eremites? Your Eremites, which you've worked so hard for all these years?
Yes. We've waited a long time for this day to come. The sun and the moon no longer shine here. All you see now is cracks in this desiccated land. But fate has finally dealt me a hand to play against the Academia. With these scholars in our custody, we'll stomp the Academia's forces and fight our way beyond the wall of Samiel.
Ridiculous. Think about it. The Academia controls the entirety of Sumeru. Your powers are negligible in comparison. If you still don't believe me, then try asking these 2 men. They're also against the Academia, but neither of them are as arrogant as you are.
They look more like pawns of the Academia to me. Why would I listen to anything the people of Greater Lord Rukkhadevata have to say? Filthy traitors. Your god abandoned all honor and betrayed King Deshret.
It's impossible to communicate with someone so hostile. Perhaps we should.
Do you really believe that by kidnapping the scholars, you'll be able to negotiate with the academia? These people have no value as bargaining chips. But I could be persuaded to take their place as your next hostage. These scholars were exiled from the academia. I, on the other hand, am their current scribe, and will be a much greater asset to you.
Wait, you can't be serious.
So, you want to trade places with the hostages, do you?
Precisely. Any wise person would gladly accept my offer.
What are you thinking? What if they decide to kill you instead?
Well, that would be bad luck for me. However, I'd get the chance to observe the scholars, perhaps even find out the truth.
Think you can talk me over with that confident look of yours?
I'm not trying to persuade you. I'm using this as a means of joining forces.
You are the scribe. What do you—
Not all desert dwellers believe in King Deshret, and the same applies to the academia. Why must all knowledge seekers approve of the academia's way of doing things?
You academia scum. Every last one of you is nothing but a hypocrite, just like everyone else on the other side of that wall.
Not so fast. I'll hate them. Do you stand by everything you just said?
I never make empty promises.
You know you're making a dangerous decision, right?
I do.
Good. Raman, hear me out. These people are my friends. Maybe you can't take the followers of the Dendro Archon at their word, but what about me? Do you trust me?
We've known each other for years. Of course I do.
In that case, I'm willing to vouch for their honesty with my right arm. Come on, Raman, don't be a coward. If you're serious about taking on the academia, you need to steel yourself. You can't be afraid.
An arm from the Flame Mane. You've piqued my interest. But what if you refuse to oblige? What should I do then? No one's a fool here, Dia. We're mercs. And mercs don't tend to live long unless they have their wits about them.
You're not wrong, but this is different. I promised my friends that we'd bring back the village keepers together.
Let's do it right here, then. Give me your right arm as proof of your resolve.
Don't listen to him! He's not even trying to negotiate! He just wants to make things more difficult!
That's fine.
Are you crazy?
We came here to save lives. One arm for that many people is still a pretty good deal, if you ask me. Rahman, I'm holding up my end of the deal here. You'd better not let me down.
Sure. Go ahead and cut off her right arm.
No! Dia! What are you gonna do? Think of something!
You don't have to go this far.
That's not for you to decide.
Do it!
Dia! Run!
Stop!
What's wrong? Can't do it?
Flame Mane, you and I are both desert folk. Cutting off your arm is no different than cutting off my own fingers. Where's the sense in cutting my own kin to pieces? You've shown me that you're serious. Go on now, take your friends and leave. Meet me in the desert at noon tomorrow.
Phew. I was really counting on him not going through with it.
Dia! That was crazy! Have you all lost your minds? What if he'd actually cut your arm off?
Then I just have to hold my claymore with my left arm. Okay, I'm sorry. But sometimes when you're out on a limb, you gotta double down to seal the deal, you know?
Don't ever make a promise like that again. I can deal with the likes of them. If it came down to it, you would not lose to them either.
I don't doubt it, Sino. But this is about more than me and them. There's a lot more where they came from. Even if we got rid of one bunch of radicals, there are others out there. Wiping them out would do more harm than good.
As you wish.
I'm sorry, Dia. I should have stayed put and listened. I should have trusted you.
It's okay. I promised you I'd help find your grandpa, so I'll do whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes? You just might be scholar material.
Huh? Are you serious?
The Eremites once said that I was a lunatic. Perhaps a little madness is essential to be successful in research.
Why does it feel like he's using his praise for me as an excuse to brag about himself? Okay, let's get moving. We should head back to the village and rest up. Today was just a trial run. Noon tomorrow is gonna be the hard part.
You're all here so early.
Looks like we have everyone here. Isak, are you sure you want to come with us?
I'll watch from a safe distance.
Okay, let's go.
Dia, wait.
What's the matter?
I heard that you were quite reckless yesterday. No more of that.
Fine.
Who's our target this time?
All expenses paid travel? Count me in. Step on up. Surprise! Over here! Step on up! Don't blink! Incoming! Hey! up!
Uh-oh. Is it because Paimon...
Is everything ready?
Absolutely. You brought fewer people.
Bring him over.
Grandpa! Why is there only...
Raman, I've always thought of you as a man of his...
It's a one-for-one... And let me put it this way. Agreeing...
You stay right there!
What do you think you're doing?
Grandpa!
Don't you see this blade here?
You coward! Why are your hands shaking?
Wait a second! It's a earthquake!
Grandpa! Paimon...
This day's going just...
The sand dune collapsed. I saw an energy field. The village keeper protected us. It glowed green with dendro. It may well have been the remains of Lesser Lord Kusanali. The dendro Archon. The present one.
Grandpa? Grandpa?
Hey, look around you.
Did there used to be a temple?
It seems that when the sand dune collapsed, it exposed these underground structures. The symbols on the gate belong to King Deshret's civilization. It could have been an underground palace in the distant past.
Oh, a miracle. Praise King Deshret!
What's he doing here?
They must have fallen down here with us. Pretty lucky. Most of them seem in really bad shape. Except for him. He got off lightly.
Mind your head.
No, this isn't the time for conflict.
He's not actually...
As it happens, I want to take a look inside too.
What are you doing?
Don't you think it's curious? 1 minute, Lesser Lord Kusanali's power protects us from harm, and the next, remnants of King Deshret's civilization appear. Two major deities are vying to showcase their power to us. It would be a shame not to witness them both.
Paimon thought you weren't...
Indeed. New discoveries are always worth
Raman, what are you gonna do about your...
I'll just let them lay here. King Deshret will...
Into the wind.
Take it easy. Quietly now. Take it easy.
It's full of life here. This defies comprehension. It looked completely desolate from the outside. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's so many plants. It's so pretty.
Sir Rahman.
Huh?
Do you see another Rahman here?
Are you mocking me?
Interpret it however you want. But there's something I'd like to draw your attention to. While this structure is clearly left over from King Deshret's civilization, the energy that flows in here is that of the Dendro Archon.
Whatever you say. It's not like I have a vision.
There's nothing to be angry about. Think of this as an academic journey.
It does seem kind of strange. If that's true, then we might have to explore this whole area to find an explanation.
Gotcha.
Watch out!
Quietly now.
Fire! Well,
Fallen leaves, adorn my...
hey there!
Gotcha. Things are about to get tight.
Wind strike!
Busted.
Coming at ya! Attack! Shower me with...
Here comes the catch. Tiggity tock.
The wind knows me.
with nature.
Quietly now.
Clouds high. The birds call.
Things are about to get dicey.
Coming at ya! Hiya! Cha! Coming at ya! Ha! Hiya! Ha! Ha-ha! My time with the Spina has taught me that carrying an unreliable weapon is worse than not carrying one at all. do love Spina di Rosula's logo. It was designed by my mother. Have you noticed how it's shaped like a heart? Oh. Oh. I really want to go traveling. I don't mind where we go, as long as I have my friends with me.
Now that's a sight to see. King Deshret's splendor surrounds us.
There's so much vegetation here. It's different than what I expected.
Sure are a lot of plants for a desert.
That's what I call divine providence of King Deshret.
Hmm.
It's getting brighter! Oh, it looks so beautiful!
Wait. What's that?
A load of flowers. And it looks like there's something among them.
These are King Deshret runes.
They left something behind.
What does it say?
Here lies our faithful priest Kasala. His wisdom is a miracle among the people, deserving of high praise and admiration.
You can read ancient King Deshret script?
Of course. Every student needs to master at least 20 languages before they graduate.
He's not serious, right?
There's still something off about this place. The elemental energy here is too concentrated. The scent of life. Is it trying to tell us something?
Is this it?
Analyzing.
There seems to be a hidden message among these skeletal remains. Excellent. There's a
Isn't she?
Yes. How? You'll understand after watching it.
Civilization is born of knowledge, but so too can knowledge be its demise. A disaster caught us unaware. It was knowledge that did not belong to this world. King Deshret brought this forbidden knowledge into our world, and it quickly spread like a plague. People's minds were filled with crazed whispers. Dark gray scales spread across their bodies. Even the land was stripped of its vigor. Only a desperate, deathly silence remained. Were it not for greater Lord Ruka Devata from the forests, the damage would have been irreversible. She summoned the priests to build temples and infused into them the divine power of life. The disaster was miraculously tempered, and the embers of our civilization were preserved in Aru village. Alas, the miracle could not last. As long as forbidden knowledge continued to exist, it would forever blight this world. In the end, the proud king of the desert, my eternal lord, chose to sacrifice himself. I have spent my whole life since guarding one of these many temples. But now, my duty is coming to an end. As I close my eyes for the final time, the sight of that noble deity will appear in my vision once more. In helping King Deshret to eradicate forbidden knowledge, she exhausted her strength, and her form became that of a small child. How strange. Now that I think of her, I no longer have any fear of death, for I sense that the spirit of life will abide with me during my eternal sleep. Children of the desert, cling no longer to past grievances, but hold tight to the memory of this act of benevolence.
What was that?
The priest's memories.
No. No!
Greater Lord Rukkhadevata. So the former Dendro Archon and King Deshret were never enemies.
But this doesn't make any sense.
Was that?
You might be You've just witnessed.
The surviving followers of King Deshret all gathered in... King Deshret, we saw her as nothing more than a traitor.
You were blinded by your prejudice.
How could I ever be...
Raman, that's enough. Give it a rest. You're starting to make a fool of yourself.
Dia, tell me, my Eremites and I, what are we even fighting for?
Hey, how you...
I should probably go.
What's your next move gonna be?
Oh, I know what you're going to ask. But please, give me...
It's not gonna be...
Well, I guess that's for me to do.
When would be a good time for us to...
Tomorrow. And I'll...
You seem to finally understand.
Yes.
That must have been rough. But he...
Ramon's no fool. It's too bad he was held back by his...
The outcome...
We should get going too. Let's...
We're
leaving!
Stop yelling.
Time to go. Like lamb to the slaughter.
Rahman,
Everything's been arranged.
I guess all I can...
Don't mention. But
Where are the perpetrators?
I'll bring you to them.
So these are the people who kidnapped the village keepers.
Oh no, it's the scribe!
There's no need to yell.
We've been all over the desert trying to find you.
That's right.
General Mahamatra? No.
Whoa. The moment they said...
You should have known.
Wait, we were just... No, not saying...
I could do.
Please have me.
Start talking.
So, your superior...
They,
Don't play. They extract divine...
Well, you better start...
You don't want to make things any more difficult for yourself, do ya?
Be my guest.
Uh-huh? That sure didn't sound like a...
How did you know?
There's no use hiding it now. Yes, you're right. The Academia is working on an important and potentially world-changing... It may seem as if the withering of Irminsul has been getting worse recently. The sages have tried everything they could think of, but nothing's worked. I'm always hearing them say things like, if only Greater Lord Rukkhadevata was still with us.
Continue.
And then, the doctor was previously expelled from the Academia. At first, the sages looked down at him in disdain. But he asked them...
This is what the...
First, the Academia. After that, with the doctor's help, and the next, they...
It adds up.
But how do you determine whether the knowledge...
Call it an educated guess? The Academia... Nobody can explain the cause of this phenomenon. Sure, if it's knowledge, no mortal...
You must have noticed, it is as if they are cursed with a desire. Some organisms demonstrate this is but...
Then what does Lesser Lord... Is she not a true...
From the beginning, when the Academia first discovered Lesser Lord, they found that at the time, she... Not to mention that, slowly but surely, people...
So...
All right, let's try to keep our cool. Rahman, give me a few men to help us.
Sure.
The village keepers you found have all been returned to their homes. And each...
the atmosphere is so heavy. Hey! Say something! Stop spacing out!
Come on, is there nothing left to talk about?
Or I can go fetch some snacks.
Oh! Paimon's so coming with you!
Do you have any plans, Traveler?
Gods above, you're not talking about work, are you?
So you were still withholding some information?
Even though we lived through all of this firsthand...
What a whirlwind of a story. I felt like I was holding...
It seems like there'll be more issues.
Still, now's...
It's time to make a...
Indeed.
So, everyone...
Crush the sages, and rest...
Well, let's brainstorm a little...
The next time we gather here, we must have a solid plan.
Yep, it'll work out.